If you're a Star Wars enthusiast like me, then you've likely seen some good Star Wars TV shows in your time. Some of the best ones I've seen include the animated Clone Wars series, the early seasons of The Mandalorian, or more recently, the Andor series. But there's one entry in Star Wars canon that stands out for its unparalleled levels of aura. I'm referring to the 2003 Clone Wars micro-series, which originally aired on Cartoon Network, and it left an unforgettable mark on the franchise and a 7-year-old drooling Chungus. This video isn't just for nostalgia baiting. No, what I'm here to do is recognize why this series still holds up as a masterpiece of visual storytelling and why it's got some of the best fight sequences in the entirety of all Star Wars fight sequences. In this video, we'll explore why it has more aura than any other Star Wars show combined, and it has more enjoyability and rewatchability because of it. A huge part of the aura of the show comes from the clone troopers themselves, and the show gives us a look at them that is far different from any other rendition I've seen. Bruh. These cats were moving like the Winter Soldier from the MCU
before he got his shit nerfed by Captain America.
Stone cold, cool, and calm. That's how they were moving. The ARC Troopers specifically were some of the most aura-farming dudes I've ever seen in the Star Wars universe. They make out Prime Piccolo look like he ain't even doing too much, which is insane. Just peep the way these ARC Troopers were infiltrating the city. They really didn't even need to use words to communicate. Team leader over here was just given non-verbal callouts in the coldest way possible. One of my favorite examples of a clone trooper aura farming comes from my man, Captain Fordo, right here. There's this infamous clip, I'm sure you've seen it, where this head literally held off an entire quarter of the Separatist army on this planet, all in the name of holding the line. Bro really said,
never back down, never what?
He really didn't need to pull out the akimbo perk like that, but he knew exactly where these cameras were and that these 7-year-olds would remember the day he did this 20 years from now. I kid you not, man, I wanted to enlist in the clone army as soon as I could after seeing this show, and the way Team Leader Fordo fought off an entire army single-handedly, without even being a Jedi or using the Force. Alright, I'm getting a little bit off topic. In Clone Wars, these troopers aren't just background figures or expendable assets, although sometimes that is the truth. They're portrayed as highly competent, stoic warriors who embody discipline and efficiency. Unlike the 2008 animated Clone Wars, where clones get individualized personalities and backstories, which is great for character-driven stories, here they move as a unified force, with a level of precision and purpose that makes them feel like an unstoppable machine, and far more deadly than their droid counterparts. We see them scaling massive structures, holding lines against overwhelming odds, executing coordinated assaults with minimal to no dialogue, relying instead on visual cues and sound design to convey their resolve. This draws directly from the show's creator, Genndy Tartakovsky, and Samurai Jack. This is where silence amplifies strength. Their portrayal makes the Republic's military feel genuinely formidable, and it grounds the show even as the more fantastical elements kick in. Of course, for every good guy, you need an equally matched bad guy, and this is where the worthy opponents and the villains of the show come in. Let's talk about the first villain on our list, who is truly just a menace to society. Let's talk about DURGE.
Bruh.
This cat really had me convinced he was a medieval knight, the way his armor looked, and the way he was jousting with that lance on that speeder bike against Kenobi. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let me explain who DURGE is. DURGE is a Genndy bounty hunter who is essentially an invincible, bulletproof tank whose body is made up of
tentacle-like limbs that allow him to regenerate, stretch, and reform in grotesque and fluid ways.
Bro was really out here moving like Sid the Squid and Prime King Von had a baby on O-Block.
No.
On a real note, this head is so cold that he damn near
slimed out
an entire portion of the clone army before Obi-Wan could even step in to face him. And the whole time he was doing it,
he was aura farming every chance he got.
When I first watched this show and I saw the way that Kenobi slimed him out for the first time, I was like, okay, cool. I would expect nothing less from my
Goat Kenobi.
Then he came back and continued to get his get back on everyone in existence and almost even slimed out my Goat Kenobi himself. This dude was really moving like Sandman from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 movie with how invincible he was appearing to be. Not only is this an innovative villain concept from the creators of the show, but watching DURGE as a 7-year-old Chungus literally gave me chills.
And probably made me soil my undies.
Because he instilled otherworldly fear, and I saw the monster he truly was capable of becoming behind that armor. I mean, bruh. Just look at the way this cat is posing for the camera. Just look at the way he stands in the corner before he gets to work, moving like
Prime King Vaughn.
bruh really has that
You must not be from around here.
dance. Then there's
General Grievous.
Unlike the 2008 Clone Wars that treats Grievous like a nerfed loser, the 03 series presents him as an
Absolute menace.
unstoppable force. Your worst nightmare. If you ever even saw this dude before he got to you in battle, that is. Most of the time, he probably just
Slime you out with
without you even knowing he was there. If DURGE was moving like Prime King Vaughn on Roblox, then think of General Grievous as moving like
Prime Osama bin.
On a real note, his dramatic entrance at the Battle of Hypori, it's a masterclass in villain presence and tension building. Just look at how evil bro looks here. Bro really got that
I'm about to end this whole man's career.
looking off stance. Spider-Man looking off stance.
Grievous really got that
They'll never see me coming.
looking off stance.
Alright, I'm done now. The show treats him more like a Stephen King horror character than your typical Star Wars villain. His angular, near-skeletal design makes him a perfect foil to the Jedi. This dude was literally so damn cold that he had 4 or 5 Jedi shivering in their timbers, and they hadn't even seen him enter the premises yet. Bruh really was just intimidating the Jedi just with the sound of his mechanical legs moving. Not only does he have them pissing their pants, but he genuinely jump scares them like the clown from It. And then he proceeds
To whoop each of their asses.
in what might be the greatest Star Wars 1v5 I've ever seen. This dude was really having Ki-Adi-Mundi sweating from his brow and barely making it out alive. By the time Grievous was done with these Jedi, they collectively had more trauma than your first ex with daddy issues. Despite not wielding the Force, Grievous more than compensates with acrobatic ability, feral spins, and relentless slashes that both feel mechanical and savage. I still can't believe he almost pulled off a flawless 1v5 victory against the Jedi, and the only reason he didn't finish them all off was because a clone gunship came in to bail them all out. And real quick, I'd be committing a crime if I didn't mention the Ventress vs Anakin 1v1 fight. I'm not lying to you when I say that this might single-handedly be the greatest 1v1 ever put to screen in all of Star Wars canon. It really is that good. Anakin is basically led into a trap as Asajj Ventress steals his attention in the midst of a starship battle on some planet I forget the name of. She has him chasing Skirt all the way to another galaxy, so she could get him all alone to face him on this planet. My Goat Kenobi sees this happen, and he promptly orders an entire squadron of clone troopers to follow after the Chosen One. After Skywalker and the clone squadron land on the planet, Ventress starts moving like
The Predator.
and one by one, we see her
Have her way.
with these clones. Pause. But if Asajj Ventress is the Predator, then Anakin is Schwarzenegger himself, as he solo 1v1s her in one of the all-time best fight sequences I've ever seen in all of Star Wars canon. We see these two scrapping off and on for so long that the time of day literally passes from day.
Tonight.
The combat throughout this series is fluid, with exaggerated motions and kinetic energy that make every clash feel
Epic.
The lightsabers here, they don't just swing, they arc with jagged trails of light, leaving vibrant after images against saturated backdrops. This isn't just a fight of good against evil. It feels like Anakin is in a primal fight for survival against near impossible odds. The very end of this fight between Anakin and Ventress at the top of the temple is quite literally the definition of absolute cinema. It's especially peak when you consider visual foreshadowing taking place here, as Anakin's attraction towards the dark side of the Force is revealed, and he wields the red lightsaber against the backdrop of the red moon. Absolute chills, dude. There is one last fight sequence that I absolutely cannot be remiss to mention, and it might be my favorite of all the fight sequences in this entire series. And that is when Mace Windu queues into a solo squad's battle royale lobby and clutches up against every single separatist droid, winning the victory royale and defeating an entire skyscraper tall earthquake creating fortress, all while aura farming the entire time with
No lightsaber.
This dude was really moving like the Dragon Warrior, and Neo from the Matrix had a baby. Then God decided to give him the Force. Like, I didn't know Jedi were able to even have
The propensity
to wield the Force and be making moves like that. This man was really conducting
Kung Fu moves.
with his bare knuckles on.
Droid metal.
You know how much that must have hurt and how many hours of Force meditation it took him to get there? My favorite part of this whole damn sequence when he solo slams out an entire separatist army and their entire fortress is when he walks back to the kid who witnesses the whole thing and just aura farms on his ass. Alright, so that about does it for my official aura synopsis / glaze of the OG Star Wars. On a real note, this show will probably outlast anything that Disney Star Wars has ever produced, besides like maybe Andor or Rogue One, and it really is just a masterpiece of a work of art. If you guys want me to actually dive into how the show achieves this, and I'll make that video on its own. I'm barely touching / scraping the surface with all this Clone Wars content. Alright, so that's it for the video. Make sure to subscribe to keep seeing more content like this. Bye.